Hi, uh, thank you all for allowing me to come here and speak to you today. Mr. Shoemaker has asked that I come and share my thoughts on um, overall school improvement here at Trinity, and I'm honored to do so. Um, some of you may know that I've been working on my master's degree and I'm about finished up. But one of the courses that I took is based on school improvement process. And I feel like there are so many aspects of this class that we could put to use right here at Trinity. So I have been at Trinity for 7 years, as most of you know. And I think we would all agree that the last 3 years here have been really difficult for us. Our uh, climate has really struggled, um, making it difficult to be successful, not only in our jobs, but to be successful for the sake of the students. And regardless of whether or not we agree or not, these kids see us every day and they see the stress that's happening and they can feel that shift in the climate. So, um, one of the things I want to focus on is now that we have Mr. Shoemaker in place, we have a leader who is inspiring to us. We have a leader who respects us not only as teachers, but as individuals and people who have families outside of work. We have someone who has our back and is supportive, and they're part of our team. And you, I'm sure, will agree that the climate already has changed dramatically over the last few months. So I say, let's keep that going. One of the things that I have learned is that improvement is constant. We set goals. We have to set goals. That's important, of course. But there's never really a finish line for us. We need to be moving forward all the time. There is always room to improve everywhere. So, one of the things that I would like for us to spend a little time doing over the next couple of days prior to the beginning of the second semester is to sit down and individually think about what it is that you personally excel at. What is it that you love? Do you love science? Do you love math? What is it that you can bring to the table? I know we're all good teachers in our classrooms, but we're kind of isolated there. So I'm thinking, wouldn't it be awesome to be able to share our expertise with each other? Wouldn't it be great to videotape some of our more successful lessons and then share with one another? I think you would agree that because we are such a small school, me taking an hour out of my day, out of my classroom, to go and watch Mrs. Murray teach a science lesson, it's just difficult to actually make happen. And the budget, unfortunately, doesn't allow for subs to come in just so we can gain training from one another. But I think it's important. So I really would like for you to be thinking about that over the next 2 to 3 days and just touch base with Mr. Shoemaker and say, hey, look, I've got some really great lessons here, here, and here. And maybe we could get that video submitted and we could go on through Google Docs. Lots of opportunities to review each other's strengths. Um, Personally, as a teacher, I've got a couple of weak spots that I know of, and I would love to get your input on that as well. Um, we have always been a really good team here at Trinity. Our leadership has changed a little bit over the last few years, but the team has been really strong, and that is so important. Um, this collaboration that we all have. You see it in the Christmas program, we see it in Generations Together Day, we see it in the fall and spring auctions. There are so many things that we do together as a team that make us so strong. So I love this acronym, and it's actually team, TEAM, and It actually stands for together, everyone achieves more. Let's think of that. Together, everyone achieves more. That's pretty awesome to think about. Yes, we are successful, but imagine where or what we could be if we worked in collaboration a little more together. Um, Something else that I want you guys to all think about is jumping online and getting into TED Talks and maybe a few podcasts. I know those words are podcasts. It seems so um, futuristic, but there is so much wonderful information out there. I have a list of some podcasts available to you on the Google Doc I'm going to share with you. Spark Magic is one of them. Wow, this was really an awesome video that I watched, and it just is a reminder that teachers and leaders have opportunities to spark learning in those around us every day, whether that learning is in a classroom or maybe a professional development meeting. But don't be afraid to learn together. Don't be afraid to step out of that comfort zone. We're telling our students this all the time. Oh, take part in the play, step out of that comfort zone, stand up in the room and speak. But do we do that? So that's one thing that I really want you guys to start thinking about. How can you, as an individual, spark magic? Because you can. It's in there, it's inside of you. Um, I also would like just to um, thank Mr. Shoemaker for taking the time to work on improving this climate here at our school. It's great to see him in the cafeteria. It's great to see him out on the playground. Great to see him in the hallways. He's not always in his office. And I think that's really nice um, as a teacher and as a student to see him out interacting with all of us. Um, I want you also to think about um, ways that, back to collaboration, I apologize for jumping around, but I want you to think of ways how you can be a mentor to maybe someone else who is here. Um, we have seasoned teachers, we have newer teachers, we have teachers who are new to Lutheran um, theology, we have teachers who are called and rostered teachers, we have teachers who have studied Martin Luther in depth. Let's utilize those teachers in the best way we know how. Um, I, in the third grade, teach a lesson on Martin Luther. It lasts for about 2 or 3 days, and I really need to be contacting Mrs. Damel and getting some more information that I can draw into those lesson plans. So I want you to be thinking about that too. What are the ways that you personally can add to that? Um, Another thing that I want to bring up that might sound a little scary at first. So, since I've been here, I have noticed we don't really use data like we should. And I know that it's scary to be given this pile of paperwork and you have this thought that, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to know what all of this stuff means. I'm supposed to know what these numbers are. I'm supposed to know what the Lexiles are. And you know what? Some of it, yeah, but not all of it. All of this paperwork that we have data and information that can really help us soar, but we're not using it. So I am asking Mr. Shoemaker to put together a team of individuals to kind of go through this data. It's locked in our safe, it's in there in files, doing nothing for us. So we're going to take a few Saturdays, we're going to go through this paperwork, we are going to organize it. The thing is, we don't need all of that data, but we do need some of it. And we want to make this data available to you so that you know how to better create the lesson plans and the learning environment where our kids can be even more successful. Um, I've offered that. He provide training to teachers, just a basic training. Just we're going to narrow down the relevant information and just to show you how this data can be hugely helpful. Last thing I want to do is to confuse or deter you, but I want to make this stuff available to you and I want to make sure that you understand it. Um, I also, again, value any feedback that you have, and I will gladly visit with you outside or after this presentation. Um, Thank you for your time today. Let's change the world.